they make you come?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
And like
better than a human
otherworldly way.
man.
Yes. My boyfriend's always on tour, so I'm like, babe.
I've been cheating on you.
I've come in my sleep. Do you think that's...
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Is that opal in your...
Yes.
I have opal in my belly button ring.
Oh my god, I love that. Opal's so beautiful. It brings in all kinds of attract abundance, and I always wear labradorite. I always have something like this.
Love that.
Smoky quartz. I'm carrying tourmaline.
Oh, nice.
Just got it
Rose
all.
quartz. Yeah, I've got it all in my stuff.
Are we going?
Well, yeah. Well,
Oh, cool.
I'm out of breath from everything that just happened.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was like a full.
So
Reading.
we just did a lap in the Comedy Store, and we've been talking for a long time about getting someone in here to read the spirits. So we're so excited to like get into this with you. So I don't know what did you? Should we just walk through it? What happened?
How shall we start this?
Okay, let's start. So Brittany and I ran into each other in the parking lot and came in. And
Instantly knew who you were.
Yes,
mean to cut you
same.
off.
Oh no, that's okay. We're both empathic, so we could both feel how much we already loved each other via our mutual friend. And then we came in, and right away you sensed heaviness in the basement as we came down the stairs, and then your right ear was hurting.
Ringing.
Ringing.
Yeah.
What does that usually mean?
It can mean different things. For me, I feel like I'm shifting consciousness. Like I'm
That's right, you
entering
said
different
that.
realms. Usually it's the spirit realm. It's a ringing or a pressure. So when I was coming downstairs, I was like, okay, I'm about to encounter the spirit realm. Like I can
Whoa.
feel it. Like I always, in that moment, I always like see I have like 1 foot on earth, and it's almost like I have 1 foot that just kind of like floats about. Like if that makes any sense, like I'm
Yeah.
in and out.
Yeah.
In my life with this kind of work, and as I get older, I realize that grounding is so important. Protection as well, but grounding, like even if it's like a simple visualization of like my feet are roots or walking barefoot on the earth. But anyway, then in
To
that
make
moment
your-
when I hear
To
I'm
make
like,
yourself
"Ooh."
feel like more safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's because you become, especially for air signs, you become a little too floaty, head in the clouds, having access to the different realms. We all do. I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I say that and I'm like, some people are really closed off, but if they really wanted to, but you'd have to be able to bring yourself back down to reality, because I can get so lost in like the spirit realm, and I'm like, but Brittany, you're on Earth. You have friends, you have family, you have a boyfriend, like present, be present.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, I talk a lot. I'm all over the place. I'll circle back around, but my ears, when in that moment, I'll hear it, I'll realize it, and then I will visualize myself being very grounded, whether it's the roots into my feet or roots or whatever it is, because I don't want to be just
taken, sort of.
yeah.
What exactly did you sense when you first walked in?
When I first walked in, you mean down here?
Just in
In
general, I
general?
guess. Yeah.
In general, it was very light. I was very excited. I also felt like several of the spirits, there's many here. There's so many that we could be here all night. Like,
Whoa.
I'd love to have a lockdown and a notebook
Yeah.
and just write down.
Do,
Like,
do you think
here
they're
they
all
are.
comedians?
Not all of them.
Okay.
The ones that I've been feeling they're very, very strong. Like the one that I didn't mean to call him a wannabe comedian, and he just never got his time to shine. He was very funny. I think either was his friend or his brother that had gotten the spotlight or was in the spotlight, and he was
Wow.
like,
Jealous.
yeah.
Damn.
So we'll just kind of recap the rest of the walking tour
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
took just now, with Brittany being open to reading. So we walked around the basement, and you felt immediately the feeling of suicide.
Yes, when we got into the basement.
Yeah.
And you took me to that back room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we told you that only a few months ago, Brody Stevens did commit suicide, and some of his stuff is in the basement. So it was
She asked, like, is any of this his stuff? And then our producer showed us the room was full of his stuff from his memorial.
What was it that? How did you know? Like, oh my God, suicide! Did you see something? Did you hear something?
How do I explain it? I didn't see a visual. I do
Okay.
see I get visions.
Okay.
I'm clairaudient. I'll hear stuff. I'm sitting with it now. I can't remember exactly how I knew. I just knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a feeling.
Yep.
A
Wow.
sensation. And when I get around personal possessions, it's so intense. I've had clients give me, past loved ones, personal possessions, and I'll hold them. And instantly it's like, bam, 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 I can give them all this information.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that his personal possessions were down there because you did not tell me that. No one told me that.
Right.
And Brittany didn't do any research before coming
Yeah,
here.
and I
We
don't-
talked about that.
And I feel so just sad that I didn't know who he was. Embarrassed a little bit. It's kind of like, I wish I knew who he was.
I think a lot of people felt that way. Like once comedians posted about him, everyone was like, "Oh man, he was so funny," and that's like the power that Brody had. He was so funny. But also, what was crazy? So you said the suicide, and what I was holding in from telling you. Down here, they've done like the mafia used to be involved down here, and they would do forced abortions for like their mistresses. Like maybe even in this room, I don't know, but like definitely in the basement, some shit like that happened. So when you were talking about suicide, it like kind of doesn't surprise me that maybe someone has committed suicide here.
Yeah. Because that's what I first went to, and I went against my intuition a little bit because I'm human, and I understand that like intuition is everything. I do trust my gut, but there was like this sense of like, and then you said that about his stuff, and then I was like, okay, but yeah, it does feel when we were in the office where you first told me about the mafia. I didn't know anything. We didn't talk about that when we were down here. When we went to those offices upstairs, and I saw the guy with the hunchback kind of like on death. I kept saying death row. I know that that's not kind of like walking to that. Oh my God, what's my point?
You got it. Abortions down here.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that at all. But the mafia, like the sense of somebody died here. I know, and I see gunshot wound, and I also see
there was a shooting here. I was here that night it happened. It was like 2 years ago. There was a shooting on the patio.
What?
Like literally someone just came and shot someone point blank and then ran away, and I don't think they ever caught the guy. The person didn't die, but yeah, I was in a room in the belly room, and then someone came in. They were like, "Yo, we can't leave the room. Like there was a shooting." And it's a comedy club, so obviously everyone was laughing. And then he was like, "No, like
I'm not joking.
yeah, this is dead serious." It was really scary.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw gunshot up there when we were up
Wow.
there. I've seen a noose now that we're talking about this. I see a noose. I see a gunshot. And I know that, anyone can say that about suicide, but high suicide, like suicide. That's what I heard first before I heard murder. Definitely did not get a feeling of abortions, but that is, that's a tricky thing to say, but it is something dying.
Yeah.
And if they were being forced, that is murder. I'm gurgling. Sometimes my throat will gurgle, or I feel nauseous.
Yeah, you felt nauseous multiple times on the tour.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, when we continued the tour, I started to feel in each spot like anxiety and shortness of breath. Not in each spot, but in multiple of the rooms we went into. And I felt like I was like feeling whatever you were feeling in a way. I more so felt like I didn't know how to discern it to the things you were saying and the messages you were getting, but I felt like I was concurring with your messages, like by feeling you.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in your energy and therefore feeling whatever you were feeling.
Absolutely. You're
Yeah.
highly empathic. And you are a medium. You're a psychic medium. You are as well.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
How do you know? I
resonate in it. I just feel it. Yeah. Very it's not here to, guys are both great. Like she's more open at this particular moment. And I don't know if you have, I feel when I tap into your energy, you feel it. You have seen and felt things, but you suddenly go, whoop, like you're just kind of like, I'm not going to like pay attention to this. I see with you, you're a little bit more like, you're trying to navigate the energy. You're like, okay, is this Brittany's energy? Is this that person's? Is it the room's energy? Is it my energy?
That's
is it
what
the
I've been
spirit?
working on the past couple years, just knowing if it's me or someone else. I'm like at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like a huge empath. I can feel other people's energy, but I think you're totally right. When I like sense other spirits, things that I can't prove, I do feel like, oh, I think I saw that, but it's probably just like a person, or I write it off as like just logical.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would I or others? How do you tap more into it?
There are so many different ways. It's like, well, first of all, you just have to have the like, what am I trying to say here? Will you edit this out if I'm like, blah, 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 like, I can't speak. If just the thought of like, I want to do this, that opens you up. I started getting, I've always knew that I was like this, but like meditation, I was taking guided meditation courses because I suffer from PTSD and anxiety, and I couldn't just get out of my head. And so my guided meditation classes were great. But at the end of the class, I'd sit around and I would talk to people and I'm like, so what did you see? And like, what did you hear? And they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I was like, they're like, you're supposed to shut your thoughts. I'm like, no, I was like I was hearing voices. I was seeing people. I was getting images. So meditation opens it up even more.
Cool.
A lot of grounding, you know, just visualizations. That is very helpful. Keeping your vessel clean. Like, I've said this. I spoke at Liberate Emporium. I did a Q&A, and I love it too. It's so great. And I was like, veganism. I've never really eaten meat anyway. I'm more vegetarian. I go back and forth, but just keeping this clean, no drugs. You know, I've partaken in enough of like cocaine in LA. I was completely blocked off. Like, I was not channeling anything during that time. I wasn't working as a psychic medium, tarot card reader. But you cannot you can put substances in. I also am not on any pharmaceuticals. I'm not saying that. I also said that at Liberate Emporium. I'm like, I'm not telling people to go get off your pharmaceuticals. Like, I'm not saying that at all. There's just like keeping it clean. No alcoholism, no addictions. There's just like things like that. Little things. You know, I'm not saying that I can see the dead when I was eating meat and blowing blinds, but like, but it's not, you're not as grounded, but it's not as open, but it's like, funny. It's stuff like that. So meditation, grounding, protecting yourself, it's very important, whether it's, you know, chanting things, keeping amulets and talismans, I can never say that word. Thank you. I'm like, speak too fast. Crystals.
Okay.
Burning things, selling things, but just keeping your mental state, mind, body, and soul. Like, it just needs to be clear at all times to be able to navigate it. And, you know, I'm fourth generation.
What, and we'll get back to the tour, but what is that like, the generation? So all of your family members are witches?
Well, they don't identify as such.
Okay.
And my mom, if she's listening to this, she's so funny. She'll call me like, well, you know, I saw a ghost today. And she starts talking about it. And I'm like, Mom, you're a medium. And she's like, but I'm not. And I'm like, yes. But anyway, so my mom, my brother, my grandmother, rest her soul, and her great grandmother.
Wow.
And that's on my mother's side. On my father's side, we are Native American. There's a shaman. So my great uncle is the chief of our tribe in South Carolina, and he's a shaman. So that's like my father's line. So there's like this shamanistic, but witch. But I grew up in the South outside of New Orleans, and that's
a spooky city.
Tell me about
it.
I learned how to read tarot there, or I got my first tarot card deck in Jackson Square. So very I'm the first working psychic medium.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think some people get confused because they're like, what do you mean you're fourth generation? Nobody's worked as a psychic medium in your family. Well, no, maybe they didn't make a monetary value off of it. But we talked about ghost right after leaving Southern Baptist Church. We'd go home and my mom's like, do you feel the spirits in here? And I'm like, yes. She's like, there's 1, 2, 3. And like my brother would be like, I see a little boy and I see a little girl. And like,
did you see the same things when you would see?
Yes, I did. I would see a lot of times if it was like a family like sitting there talking, or my family sitting there and talking about stuff, I would see a lot of times what my brother would see before what my mom would see when I was younger.
Interesting.
But I was really scared of this when I was younger.
Yeah.
Very much so.
What did you think?
So scared seeing them. My mom made me comfortable. So I have my first memory ever was when I got electrocuted at 2.
What?
That's my first memory.
Wait, from what?
I stuck a penny in the light socket. Yeah, and
oh my gosh, is that what made you psychic?
Yes. So I was
I need to go home and do that.
I stuck my thumb in a socket once and got shocked.
Yep.
Whoa.
NDEs, near-death experiences.
Oh.
So that's another thing I should have said. asked when you asked me, well, how to become a psychic medium, how many near-death experiences you have.
Wow.
Like, it opens you up.
Wow.
That was my first memory. I was 2.
What did that feel like?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Excruciating pain. I've never felt anything like it since. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Was it really fast?
It was
or
really
did
fast.
Okay.
I screamed, cried. My mom was in a different room. She said it took 2 seconds. She just walked to the kitchen to put a glass in the sink.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember exactly what I was thinking. I found a penny on the ground, which is awesome because I was getting like angel messages and guides were already communicating with pennies. And I was like, oh. And then I picked it up and I thought that I was going to get a gumball.
Gumball, yeah. I knew
Did
you were
you
going to say
know?
that. I knew you were going to say that. Did you know
So
she was going to
funny.
say that?
No.
Whoa, that's so
How
weird.
did
I
you
just
know
finished
that?
your... Okay.
I knew it. I've known
Yeah.
you from a previous life.
Yeah. We seriously knew each other already when we saw each other upstairs. Okay.
But that was
So-
that was my first memory. And I've had another
Damn.
near-death experience since back in 2004.
What was that one?
I was in Hurricane Ivan. Yeah.
man.
So I was just on Vivica A. Fox's show talking about this.
Oh,
Yeah. That's where my PTSD comes from.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was on an island. I didn't evacuate during a mandatory evacuation. Very, very
Oh.
dumb. I was only 18, 19. And I was with adults that were like, no. And by the time we were like, we need to go,
Oh
we
my
couldn't.
gosh.
We were stuck because
Oh
we
my
were
gosh.
there was
Wow.
one bridge to get off that island. So we rode it out, 160-mile-an-hour winds and 101 tornadoes. It's got like the most on record for tornadoes in a hurricane.
Whoa.
And that was what almost killed me because it took out every house across the street and the houses next to me and the roof of the house that I was in. And
That's terrifying.
But,
Were you in the basement?
no, there was no basement.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
my
under.
God.
It was below sea level, so no
Okay.
basements there. But yeah, it was just
Wow.
wild. So I prepared for my death. I was with my boyfriend's family
Oh.
at the time, and ex-boyfriend, and
Oh my
we prepared.
gosh.
We were just
Yeah.
like, we're gonna die tonight, and I'm
Dude.
like, all right. And you have to accept that at like 18
Oof.
in a natural disaster.
Yeah.
But I survived.
Yeah, you did.
And I was stuck on that same island for 4 or 5 days, and no one could get in contact with me.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to trek out into like the bayou. I never will forget that because none of the phones would work, and then I found this old Nokia phone like deep in a junk drawer, and it worked. And but it didn't work until I walked like 2 miles, and I was like waist deep in debris, and there's snakes and gators. I mean, I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to get in contact with my family to let them
Wow.
know I was alive.
Yeah.
And then they had to get emergency vehicles in
Yeah.
to get me off the island, which is wild. And I didn't even get into the full story on Vivica A. Fox because after rehearsing and everything, I was one sentence in and just bawled my eyes out
Yeah.
because I had been victim shamed so much.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
By who?
Just people, bad friends,
Oh.
not the greatest people in my life. But the first question would always be, well, why didn't you evacuate? It was a mandatory evacuation.
Mm.
So I was
So,
on there.
yeah.
But anyway, I could talk a lot. But
Wow.
near-death experiences really
Yeah.
open you up. And I didn't think about that. I don't know if you've heard of the podcast God is Gray.
Mm-mm.
She's amazing. But she asked me, and she was like, how many near-death experiences have you had? Or have you had one? I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, that's what opens you up. And I'm like, you're right. Like, I've thought about it
Wow.
before, but it didn't really click.
Yeah. That makes sense. I
But-
get that. Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
But I'm not saying go out and have one.
Right.
Like,
Seek 'em out.
No, you can still be
It's not-
psychic.
yeah.
Like, but you hear a lot about
Damn.
that. Trauma triggers it, or
Wow.
Right.
Okay, so back to the tour. So after that room, then we went upstairs to the original room, which was where like kind of most of the headliners perform. And you said that you felt very tense and like anxious there.
I did.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of there was a valid point made of like, well, are you just feeling all the people that have gotten on this stage and in this room? And I did feel that. You can feel like a residual lingering effect of the living versus the non-living. It's almost like the way I could describe it is like I pushed a curtain back. Like I was like it's almost like a thick layer of like, this is all living, alive energy, residual energy from that. And then it was like you could feel all the dead energy. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's hard to put it into words. But yes, a lot of heaviness there. I don't really like the way that feels at all. Yes, it's kind of like, oh, I've got nerves. I know those nerves. I've been on television. I've been on stage. I get that. And there's kind of like a liberating feeling to that. After I went through that, used discernment. Yeah, I'm sitting there with it again to see like exactly what I was feeling. But yeah, it was like something had happened there. Nothing. I don't think anyone's died necessarily in that room.
Okay.
Backstage, I did not like.
Yeah.
There's like this younger. Again, I can't. He feels like he's a boy, a little boy.
So
but
yeah,
you might have the energy.
This was in the main room backstage.
Yes.
And
When you mean little boy, how old?
He just had a very youthful spirit. I don't know how old he was.
she said it could have either been a immature guy,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a young boy, and we were like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
in a place like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, we weren't back there that long. So
Yeah.
people were like, well, why don't you know if you're a medium? Well, we weren't back there that long. But for some reason, we were all talking and something said, sit in the first chair and swivel like I do. And so I was like, okay. And so I sat in it and I started, and this happens sometimes when I'm doing like medium sessions. I'll start speaking, like my dialect will change, my words will change. I don't speak in like foreign tongues or anything like that, but I'll change. My mannerisms will change. I could have done that there. I could have easily have done it there.
Yeah.
It's just an energy. You feel it. I heard the voice. He had a very soft, spoken voice. But yeah, he swivels in that chair. I would not be surprised if somebody somewhere, I don't know how we could ever find out, has seen that chair on its own swivel back and forth.
Wow. Do you think these people are trapped here or do they want to be here?
It depends on the spirit. I don't think a lot of people are trapped. I know a lot of mediums that will come in and tell them to go to the light or whatever. I don't do that. I've never done that. I don't know why. It doesn't really resonate with me to tell somebody's soul to go do something that I don't even know what the light is. You know what I mean? I feel like some might be trapped, but I think a lot of them just want to be here. I think they feel very connected to it. I feel that there is residual energies. I don't know, like, if you guys know what I'm talking about, like they're on a loop almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like autopilot, they do the same thing every day.
Like it's yeah, and sometimes some will say that those aren't actual spirits, it's just their energy that's like kind of like lingering on a loop. I don't know. That's always so tricky to try to explain that and navigate that, but I do believe in residual like smells and energy and but then it does, I don't know. I always feel the spirits there. Yeah. It's not like they're not there, especially if they've been gone for years. I don't know if I'm making sense though.
It's making sense to me,
okay.
yeah. But the next part of our tour, when we were walking up the stairs to go above the stages to the offices, Brittany was like kind of channeling the energy of a tall man who was like slumped forward, and she was slumped forward walking up the stairs, and that like is really sticking with me, where I feel like I could see how tall he was like above you.
She said almost like he had to deliver bad news,
or like he was on the way to get bad news. Yeah, he was
and
in trouble.
when you said that, I thought of, I don't know if this was what. Yeah, I don't know, but I thought of someone going to tell someone about Brody. Like delivering bad news, but then you said the person is probably passed, so I don't know if that...
Should I maybe I should share the visual I get, because I'm just realizing like maybe my visuals actually mean something.
They do.
See if it's
Always.
what you saw. Okay, because like I saw him as like more like early 1900s or late 1800s with like a gray wool coat and like a little poorer, but like wearing a suit, but a poor man's suit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I saw a suit.
Yeah.
I didn't even tap into. That's very detailed. Like
I saw a suit.
I saw.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Extremely tall and slumped over, and he was. I strongly feel like he was receiving bad news. Then when we were coming down those stairs, I felt a different male's energy, like he had just done something bad. And he was like, it was almost like, I can't believe I did that. And it was where I was placing my feet on the stairs. There was certain points where I would step and I could hear and feel, I can't believe I did that.
Wow.
Whoa. Oh, I get goosebumps like hearing you talk about it. And throughout the tour, I got so many at certain points.
Well, you cried.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, here I am just, I didn't mean that. And like, she cried.
Pussy.
I cried.
You little baby witch. Suck it up.
I cry all
Freshman.
the time. There's nothing wrong with crying. It's healing.
Yeah. But yeah,
I didn't mean
so
to call
then-
you out.
Oh, no, not at all. So let's go to that part.
Yeah, then we went to the kitchen/bar.
The back
where
bar.
You said you felt there were two people there. One was a trickster, or I'll let you.
Yeah, well, so when we first met up and we were coming down those stairs into the basement is when Brittany said, it's really heavy energy. And I had in my meditation this morning, I already got a message that there's a trickster here at the store. And so then as soon as we walked into the kitchen, again, I felt goosebumps. And you were like, this is where the trickster is. And you saw someone getting their hair pulled. Then Megan, our producer, revealed that's where she and another woman confirmed saw a stapler fly across the room.
Yep. And then we walked right to where that happened. I said, it's right here.
Yep.
Right here is where it happens. And let me, I'll elaborate on trickster because obviously you could say that about you're channeling ghosts at the Comedy Store and it's a trickster. Well, duh. And what I mean by this, they move things.
Oh, okay.
I don't like poltergeist because people think about the film and they're not all bad. They're all not trying to kill you by moving objects. It takes a lot from what I understand from all my research and classes and whatever. It takes them a lot of energy to move something. You know, like it's not easy of me just grabbing this and throwing it. Like they have to really, and oftentimes I wanted to say we should check our phone batteries, especially when we're doing that stuff. I bet our phone batteries will drain. I've done readings that are filmed and the battery will drain on a full battery. Like it's just
goosebumps.
Exactly. So they draw a lot of energy. That's why lights will flicker and lights will burst. It's because it's not easy for them to just throw things. They have to really build that up. That's what I mean by trickster.
Okay.
Because they throw things or they move things and
So you knew that it was going to be someone who was doing that.
Yep,
and
I
then
felt
you
it.
got here and Megan revealed that stuff has happened.
Walked right down there. And I started laughing when I went down there. I was like, it felt a little bit lighter. That's where we saw either the brothers or the friends or the cousins, that one was in the limelight, one wasn't, and he was jealous and envious. And that's the trickster. He's the one that throws things. He just wants to be seen and heard. And that's when I heard down there, you tell him his set is about to start. He needs to go. Like,
and that
get on
will
stage.
get him to
yeah, because it kind of gives them. It's
That's
weird.
what he wants.
Yeah, because people are like, well, don't they lose their ego in the spirit realm? Not necessarily.
Interesting.
It doesn't just transcend. Spirits don't just die and become like enlightened and empowered. I get a lot of them that are just like still. Some of them still attach themselves, like famous ones, for example, or if they were famous in the earth realm and they pass over. They still have a little bit of attachment to that. And I'm like, is that not ego? Like,
interesting.
They don't just become enlightened. So this guy just tell him to go. But when I turned over and looked at you, when I saw the white light that was behind your head,
I saw you see something and I felt something, and then I was like, I have to cry.
That's exactly what
it literally burst out. I was like, you guys, I really have to cry. And then I was just crying.
What was it that why cry?
I just felt so overwhelmed all of a sudden. Like it was scary. But it wasn't like a dark energy. I think it was scared of like power or so. I would think I was scared that I was feeling so much of exactly what you were feeling.
Yeah.
And you were like, you're a medium, clairvoyant, empath, and it was just like, yeah,
you are.
But thanks. I know I am, but like, I'm working on like, I mean, because I do want to learn. Maybe that's why I'm more open or something. But I do want to like practice it more and share it.
Yeah. And when you get around other psychic mediums that are really like homed in on it and working professionally as one, it opens it up even more. You're more amplified.
That's what it felt like. It felt like with you around, it was like having a teacher. I don't know. You felt like a little teacher when I was walking around. I was like, you're mentoring me kind of in this little, I was like tapping in. But yeah, so I just started crying, and then you said it was a white light behind me.
Yeah. And I told you it's healing and you're safe. And in those moments, like I even do the same, like whenever I have a little trickster in my building in Los Feliz that other people have seen, and people in my building know I'm a psychic medium, and they're like, we'll be in the elevator and they're like, so did he come to you last night? I'm like, yes. It's like he's attached to the property. I've talked to him before. He fell on that property, like where I'm in a tall building, so I don't know if he fell off the building or fell on. He fell and it was a head injury. But he throws stuff sometimes to get my attention.
He told you that, or you saw that?
Yeah, I finally sat with him.
Had some tea,
pulled up a chair. I was like, all right, just tell me, like, what is it? Because I felt him. He's yelled in my ear before during meditation. Or like, about to fall asleep.
What did he yell?
Hey,
Oh. What a dick.
I know. And I'm like, hi, leave me the fuck alone. I'm trying to sleep, trying to meditate. Get out of here. He has done the same thing to my building manager out of nowhere. She was like, I've been sleeping in my living room. And I'm like, oh no, what happened? She's like, some man yelled in my ear when I was going to sleep. And I'm like, oh, it's this guy. So I sat down with him and realized he's attached to the property.
Wow.
He's just curious as to who we all are, why we're there. Sometimes I'll get spirits that are like, where am I? Those, I think, other mediums will like try to lead them to the light. I just try to tell them that they're dead.
Like just so they know, because they don't realize. Hey, buddy, you're dead. Just so you know, you're not alive.
You still have access to the earth realm. You're so attached.
Have you had any confirmation about the death? Like the jumping from the building or anything?
Or falling?
No,
Okay.
I'm really
curious.
curious.
Yeah.
That's a recent revelation. I sat down and talked to him finally. I mean, I've been there 2 years and I was like, fine. Trying to ignore him. Like when I come home, I'm decompressing.
And you want it to be a sanctuary.
Yeah, I don't want to think about tarot or spirits or the earth. I want to live on our earth.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you say you sat down with him, are you closing your eyes, kind of meditating, talking in your head, or are you like looking at a chair, talking out loud to that person?
So if I sit there and want to channel them, sometimes I'll just feel them.
Okay.
And then I just start talking to them. I don't know what my neighbors think, but I will walk around the house just having my dog will just be looking at me like, who the hell are you talking to? I'll have full-blown conversations with spirits. But this particular man, I sat down and I have this chair. It's one of those cage chairs that kind of like, they go over you. It's all fancy. Yeah. Bougie chairs.
Wicker.
Yeah.
Well, it's not wicker.
Okay.
It's like just, I don't know how to explain it. But I sit in that. I call it my little meditative chair. My boyfriend calls it a doom buggy. He's like, it looks
I
like.
know what you're talking
you know
about.
what I mean? He's like, it looks like a
top.
Yeah, that's what it is. And so I sit there for some reason. I don't know what it is about having that over my head, or maybe because I've meditated and channeled so much there. But I'll sit there and I'm like, all right, I'm present. Like, I'm here for you. And if it's easy, like, I'll just have a conversation. I'll feel them. My ears will ring, the temperature will drop, or it'll raise. Lights flicker a lot in my house. And then if I'm feeling like, I don't want to call it lazy. It's not lazy, but maybe I don't feel like really just tapping in. I'll just grab my cards and, like, show me through the cards. This particular spirit in my building likes my Rider-Waite traditional deck. He doesn't really want to talk to me through oracle cards.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, it makes more sense to him. So I sat down and I talked to him, and and then I'll feel pains too. That's how I know like he died from a head injury. The right side of my head hurt so bad. And I don't know if you guys have ever like fallen on your head. I have several times, but that feeling of just like you could just feel a sensation in your nose and your throat, you know. I don't know. I felt it and I'm like, damn. And then he confirms it. Like, I'll hear his voice. I'm like, did you die of a head injury? And yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just like his right side of his head. And then I was feeling pain and the right side of my neck. And then speaking of mentoring, I do have a couple people that mentor under me. And one came over yesterday for my birthday and we sat down and she started describing this man and her head was hurting and her right side of her head and neck were all just in pain. And I was like,
didn't tell her?
No. Yeah,
That's
so it's like
crazy.
this. I'm like,
okay,
yup,
that's cool. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Well, my left wrist was hurting on the tour, and I was gonna tell you, but I
wish you
didn't.
would.
I know.
Where were we?
We were exiting, I think, the original room where we felt the short chest.
Oh, okay.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Or was it when we went through so many rooms, you guys? Or was it when we were? Oh no, it was the small room upstairs.
The belly room.
Yeah.
Was that the one that was white?
And then after
The
that,
white-
we went. No,
God,
it
why am I
was
so
the stage.
confused?
It was the smallest stage we
Oh,
saw,
yes,
and then we
yes,
went to
okay.
the stairs after.
Yeah.
My wrist hurt on the way between those two, and I was gonna ask you, but
Wow.
yeah,
Really bad?
my left wrist, not really bad.
I wonder if somebody injured their...
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, this makes sense. Pushing down. Oh my gosh, that just brought me back.
Oh yeah,
Remember
because you
when
were
I
like
said...
somebody got pushed.
Yeah, because maybe they fell on their
Maybe,
wrist.
yeah.
I guarantee somebody's been pushed by a spirit here.
Whoa.
Or if they haven't been, there is this, no, somebody, I see it, either somebody was pushed down a flight of stairs, pushed down. I'm sure that happens a lot here. People fall down and drunk or whatever. But I see like spirits messing with humans that are actually living here on the planet, like being pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw when we were in the trickster room, the is it the kitchen area?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a woman or a man with really long hair, but somebody's hair had been lifted up. And I don't mean just like tugging, like shot straight up. Like I would be so
Whoa.
curious to hear and see who that was.
Yeah.
Like
You also said when we were in this room, the podcast studio, that you saw 2 silhouettes with microphones, like sitting down with us.
It was wild. Yeah, because I wanted to I try not to put my purse on the floor because it's bad luck, or you know, I'm such a stickler for that, and it works. Like if you are concerned about money issues, you want to attract more money. There's little things that you do, like don't ever put your purse on the floor. So I wanted to put it in the nearest chair, and then for some reason, I mean, obviously looking at this setup now, 3 microphones, you're going to be sitting there. Like, why would I ask you if I could set my stuff there? But it's because I saw microphones with 2 people. First, I saw the microphones. No microphones are there.
Yeah.
I saw 2 microphones, and then I saw 2 people, 2 men. Really wild. Yeah, because it was like an instant. Hey, do you mind if I set this here? Is anyone sitting here? She's like, yeah. Like, clearly someone's sitting there to set up. But I saw it all set up.
This is just bringing me back to, which I've told on the podcast before, but the time that I truly 100% feel I saw a ghost, and it was so casual and nonchalant, and it was a guy sitting next to me while I was eating ramen. And so like I adjusted the way I was eating because he sat kind of close, and so I had to move my elbows. And then at the end of my meal, I realized no one was there.
Yeah.
crazy.
Was it in here?
No.
Okay.
It's just making me realize, like, I think I can see some of this stuff.
You can, for sure. And that's exactly what it is. Some people think that, like, they can see spirits that are sitting here plain as day. You can. I have. It's not often. But I'll see silhouettes or peripheral, something, you know.
It was all peripheral.
Yeah. Like, you can see that. You know, mind's eye. You'll hear that. My mind's eye. Like, it's visions that just pop up and just, you know, smells and... It's so weird. I started talking about that, and I started smelling coffee.
Whoa.
Wow. Like coffee. There's not even coffee in this room. Like, strong.
Whoa.
There is a big man. When I say this, I felt him when we were coming down. He is in this room right now. As we're talking about that, he goes, "You saw me." As I was talking about, like, you can feel, you can smell, I smelled coffee and cigarettes. Just smell that right now.
Is it the same guy in the suit from the stairs? Okay,
No, not
different.
tall and slender, fat.
Oh,
Fat.
Oh,
Big,
okay.
big.
Yeah, I tried not to use that word. But
Sorry.
no,
Big.
it's okay. We're not talking about a woman. We're talking about a man. So fuck it.
Where is he? Do you know where he is? In the room?
He was sitting down. He came in and he just walked out. When I tap into it, I don't know if he had eye issues. There was something with his eyes, or he would like blink a lot. Maybe he wore contacts or something. I don't know. There was something with his eyeballs. Smoker, coffee. I see him like compulsively big.
I wonder if that's one of the mob guys down
Oh,
here. That's what I'm
sounds-
like
yeah.
sensing based on your description, just intuiting.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the
Yeah.
mob
Yeah,
in
'cause
this place.
This building used to be a dinner club. So like, you know, cocktails and dinner and entertainment, and then but a lot of times those are run by the mob.
And also, so
it
that
was.
first room that we were in, the there's like that boarded up area. I told you about the abortions, but there's also that's like an underground tunnel. That
Bootlegging.
during the Prohibition, they would like, because this was a club, they had alcohol here, so they would like go through that tunnel to go to different bars. And so, like, obviously, other bad shit probably happened, like drug deals through those tunnels or like sex trafficking. Who knows? So, like, yeah, the whole down here is so spooky.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as we came down here, I'm like, whoa, something is sitting on my chest. It was before you even got here. I was like,
you said
something
that.
is sitting on my chest. And I
Whoa.
immediately wanted to run.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I was like, well, you've got to do a podcast. You're safe. Yeah. Like all this stuff I was saying to you during the time that you're like, I'm overwhelmed, crying, whatever. I was like, you're safe. It's healing light. Like, I have to do that to myself.
Thank you for that.
You're
by the
welcome.
way.
I do it to myself all the time. And I had to do it during this. I'm like, you can't run. You're going to do this podcast. So, like, but I wanted to.
Guys, gotta go.
Yeah.
Too many spirits.
But there were so many spirits here.
So I want to ask about clairvoyance, because I've been having dreams that come true. And if that's like, is that part of your clairvoyance, or do you have clairvoyance, or just medium empath? Like with your psychic, Is that clairvoyance?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you're clairaudient, you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
clairaudient. And then what is it? Sentient sense? I don't. I've had such a
Yeah,
hard time.
clairsentient. What is that?
When
I
you
forget.
Smell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're that as well.
Mhm.
Wow.
Whoa, cool.
Triple threat.
All of it.
Wow.
All
Yeah.
the above. Like, check every box.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh my
yeah. That's why I
gosh.
can smell the cigarettes and the coffee. But yeah, so prophetic dreams are
Yes.
very important in psychic work.
I had,
What?
I had
Yeah.
a dream last night that I had no nipples. I'm afraid it's gonna come true.
No.
But then I looked it up and it said something about needing nurturing mothering because nipples are
Mhm.
Interesting.
That would make sense.
And you know what I instantly thought? I was
Mm.
like, you're something about the patriarchy and like just letting go of
Free the nipple.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I mean, they would want us to be nippleless, right? I mean,
who knows what they
I
want
don't
anymore.
know. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's like they don't want us to show them anywhere, and they're like
Yeah,
so
it's
offended by
so
them,
weird.
but yet they
Makes
love
sense.
them and they
Right?
give. I mean,
and
they're
yet that's actually all they want.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like please
Makes
get
no
out of here.
sense.
Oh, that's an interesting
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it means.
So
I don't know if that was prophetic though.
I
You're gonna
hope
keep.
not.
You're gonna keep your nipples.
so
Like,
far, like I've had 3 extremely clear, vivid
that was awesome.
dreams where they came true, and with all of them, I had told someone about the dream before it came true, so they were like all verified. They were all sort of darker things that happened, like injuries. One was a house fire, one was an injury, one was dealing with a roommate moving out. So
Wow.
like, but I want to start having prophetic ones about good stuff. Like, is there anything I can do to, or is that common that these clairvoyant dreams would be like darker in nature, like omens?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't know if I would use the word common, but it happens in both ways. Perhaps it's like ascended masters and spirit guides and past loved ones try to get to you through your dreams because that's when you're just not consciously like pushing it out. So maybe in those moments, it's somebody from beyond. I'd love to sit with you and maybe tap in to see who exactly. It feels like a guide right now in this moment. It feels like there's a guide that comes to you in the dream state and gives you those dreams, and you can just simply ask, hey, okay, that's wonderful. I love the warnings, and you take, heed and you do what you need to do. But can you do that as well with
Like
positive
exciting stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like
Cool.
an emergency. I got to tell you right now. Let me show you.
Yeah.
In a nice way, because it's kind of calm.
I mean, they're happening so much faster now. Like the first one, it took 2 weeks, and that was when I was in middle school. It was like 2 weeks before the house fire happened. But the roommate move out one happened within like a few days of me telling Leah about that dream I had, and in such a specific way, it's crazy. And then the most recent one was within like 14 hours after having the dream
wow.
that happened. Same day, next day.
Yeah.
So like they are warnings, I guess.
They are. And then maybe just ask. I simply
Yeah,
just ask.
I'm gonna just ask.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
I sleep with a lot of different crystals too. Like people will tell you to sleep with amethyst and all these other different. I mean, there's so many crystals I can go into that you can sleep with to help you. But whatever you're feeling,
Do you put it under your pillow?
yeah,
Okay.
put it on your nightstand. I hold this. I don't even know what it's made out of. It's a 3-legged pig.
Oh.
He's like this big.
It's a crystal?
It's a crystal.
Cool.
And he's got the creepiest eyes, but I'll clutch onto him. He's green. I don't know exactly what crystal. I mean,
jade or something.
maybe it feels darker than that.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's like I hold on to him and he keeps me safe. I don't know why he has 3 legs, but like
it's creepy.
it's
but
stuff
funny.
like and I feel like it helps me travel in the astral realm and keep me safe. But I have like a huge 20-pound chunk of obsidian right next
Whoa.
to my bed.
Ooh,
I do not mess around
Yeah.
at all. And recently, I don't know why, I've never owned a pair of rosary beads in my life, and I went and got the biggest rosary beads I've ever seen in my life. They're like wall. I'm pretty sure they go in caskets. Like
Oh
on.
wow.
Oh,
Oh, they're
man.
huge.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're made out of these crystals.
Where'd
and
you
like,
put them?
I put them in my bed. One
Okay.
time I wrapped them around my body and went to sleep. Like I was so, because I was getting so many
Yeah.
energies, and like one was
Yeah.
really dark energy that wouldn't leave me alone.
What does your
and-
boyfriend think of this?
Oh
when
my
he's
God.
sleeping next to you?
Oh my God. Okay, so thank goodness. Well, not thank goodness. It kind of sucks, but he tours. He's a touring musician that plays like
Okay.
120 shows a year. But when he comes home, he's like, "Babe, can you not tell me about the ghost tonight, please?" And
Oh.
I'm like, "Yeah," but we'll be laying there and lights are flickering, and I'll just look at him.
there's 3 people in this bed.
Yes. You said you always wanted a threesome. Babe.
Yes.
Wait, speaking of ghost sex.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So I've come in my sleep a lot. Is that ghost sex?
I feel like,
I
I mean,
full orgasm while sleeping in
Yeah.
a dream.
And it
And I'm
didn't-
having sex in the dream.
And it didn't wake you up? That didn't.
Sometimes after I come, I'll wake up, or I'll just like be lucid enough to know like how good it felt and that it happened.
Wow.
yeah.
But do yours happen when you're awake, or like
Yeah, they do. Like, it's almost like I'm half asleep, half awake.
does your boyfriend consider it cheating? Or is he like
does he
you're
really know about
y-
this?
open relationship
Does he
spirit
know
wise,
about
closed relationship earth realm?
There was this one time I texted him. I don't know what the hell we were talking about, but then I said, "Well, I only like dead dick," and he was like, he put like question mark, and
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, and he just went right over it. He wasn't even like
You tried to
ask.
tell him.
Yeah, I tried in a text
So
while he was on
funny.
tour. He was probably just like, "What is she?
Yeah.
What is she
The fuck?
smoking?" Because
Yeah.
I smoke a lot of weed, so he was probably like,
So what is that like? What is ghost sex like?
interesting.
How
Yeah,
do you know when
tell
it's
us.
happening? And yeah.
So you'll feel like, I can't believe I'm talking about this so openly. I've had so many people. People make fun of me over this, but you know what? Anna Nicole did like I think she was in Playboy talking about it. Kesha has a song about it.
Wow.
Like, there are people that have talked about this, and it's a
Okay.
thing. But yeah, it feels like sometimes I'll be meditating, or I'm doing like, binaural beats. Is that how you say that? I don't
Yeah.
know why I
Yeah.
cannot speak today. I've been speaking a lot. Yesterday was my birthday.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
screaming all night. I was like, but anyway, I've been talking a lot, so I fumble my words. But I've been listening a lot of that while I'm going to sleep, and so it's almost like you're half consciousness,
Yeah.
half awake, but you're
Trancy.
Yeah, you're very awake when it's happening. You can
Whoa.
feel it. Like, I've seen like clothing move off of me. Yeah, like that's really trippy. That's happened once.
So do you know what the ghost
kinda
is? It
scary.
do you
Is
if
he
you don't mind
hot?
me? Yeah, is he hot? Like
Yes.
What's he look like?
I mean, I will
He,
tell
she,
you. I
whatever.
will. It's 2 males, but I will tell
Okay.
you off air because I don't want to offend anybody because
Okay.
they're 2 well-known
Oh.
musicians that have passed. Yeah, they've got wives in this realm. I don't want to offend them by any
Okay.
means because people can say, "Well, are you just making that up?" Well, maybe, but my friend made a valid point. Sarah, if you're listening, she goes, "Well, you've fucked enough of musicians in the Earth realm.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't
Why
you in the
not?
spirit
Yeah,
realm?
yeah.
Like, and not some just. I mean, I haven't had sex with that many, but enough, right? And
Yeah.
they're famous."
This is amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's if I'm attracting them here in the Earth realm,
Yeah.
I'm with one.
Yeah, then you're probably open
know,
to
like,
the spirits of the ones beyond.
They come to me, and it's all 90s musicians,
Hot.
Wow.
That's awesome.
except one. I'll tell you
Okay.
about him. Yeah, he's
Okay.
recent in the spirit realm,
Okay.
and I don't know how he knows, but he was already in his music. You could hear that.
Are
he
they
was really-
respectful? Like, do they call the
Yes.
next day
No.
after? Oh,
You know who?
it's like
Do you
one night
know who
stands.
has been the asshole in this? Like, get away from me, me, because
Oh.
I'm like, I am done with doing this. Because I'll get
Mm.
freaked out, and I'm like, I've convinced myself. It's really strange because everything else we've talked about today, I know without a shadow of a doubt within my soul and my intuition and whatever. But something with ghost sex, it kind of blurs the lines
Okay.
because I've talked to other mediums about it, and they're like, I don't know, and then some are like, yeah, but I believe it, but I do get tripped up. That's the
Okay.
only time I'll start to question.
Okay.
Like, all right, Brittany, like, how crazy are you? No, I try to omit those words too. I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
funny.
think I'm in trauma counseling, and I haven't brought up ghost sex, but I've brought up like moving objects and stuff. And my
Mhm.
therapist
Wow.
believes me. She knows what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wholeheartedly, she's like, yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
But you can feel it. So there was this one time I was having ghost sex with this one musician. And I had red marks and bruises, like sex bruises, sex marks, like in my inner thighs, on my outer thighs, and my hips. Yeah, I don't know if I'm like ruining my business, like this is the end of my career.
No.
but, no. But yeah,
No.
like seriously. And then I got up and I was very parched, as one is. And I would go to the kitchen and I'm bending over to get a water. And all of a sudden I'm like, I feel it in my vagina. I was like, I have been penetrated. And I did not penetrate myself.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Oh.
Like
gosh.
TMI, but I don't use dildos.
Yeah.
And I don't finger myself. I don't know why. Maybe I
And
should.
This is after
After.
sleeping?
after I was having sex
You were
with this, I
sleeping?
was kind of conscious, kind of awake. I was
Okay.
in a trance. I was meditating, and then suddenly I felt pressure in the bed. I feel a lot of spirits that get in my bed. Yeah, I
Wow.
felt pressure, and then like I felt sensations on my feet and my legs, and kind of crawling up me, and
Fascinating.
yeah, and I just let it happen because it's like it's a familiar spirit, and I was like, oh, I want this. My
Well,
boyfriend's on tour.
Yeah, it probably feels good.
Wow.
But it was that
That's
moment of me
awesome.
bending over and getting
Yeah.
that water out of the refrigerator. I was like, damn, my vagina
Wow.
hurts. Yeah. And
Got
then
that
the,
ghost dick.
and I'm like, how do you have bruises? Like, I don't know, just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then someone was like, well, can you get pregnant?
Okay.
And you were like,
I don't know. Ask the Virgin Mary, I guess.
hey.
When you're connecting with these spirits, do they ever like fuck with you?
Yes.
They get mad? What have they done?
They get frustrated. You know, like the throwing of the mala beads or moving stuff. I have one that would open my underwear drawer.
Wow.
Yeah, and it creaks so much. It was really creepy. It's like, creak, and I'm like, I shoot straight up in bed and I watch it, and I'm like, really?
You pervert.
You little perv. And they'll flicker my lights and they'll move stuff. And then I came home yesterday or the day before. I don't remember what day. Everything's a blur. But they had rearranged the remotes in the living room in a triangle.
Oh.
Yeah. So little tricksters, they just play, and
Oh.
those I don't really like. I don't like
Yeah.
when they throw. I don't like when a human being throws something. I don't
Yeah.
throw
No.
anything. Or in my home,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
harmonious and peaceful. We
Yeah.
don't yell and scream and throw things. I grew up in an environment like that. I don't want that in my adult life.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like that, you know. And just like you wouldn't want a human being like standing at the end of your bed at 3:00 in the morning and just staring at you.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah.
I did have this one experience in Vermont once. I was sleeping, I was taking a nap, and then I swear by it. This is like the one thing that I do feel like I've experienced. This like it was like a finger running up the bottom of my foot, and then I sprung awake and I like turned around because I was convinced someone was in the room.
Mhm.
And then I turned and no one was there.
Oh.
It was crazy. And then I tried to explain it to people and they did not get it.
No. That is, yep, I've had some, ugh. I
Wild.
don't like when they do that.
No.
No, it's one thing when you give them consent,
Yeah.
but it's that feeling. So ghost sex is that feeling, but like you feel it. You'll feel pressure. You'll feel. I've seen, like, I know my legs are moving up. You know, like I'm on my back, moving my legs up, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. It's like it's someone like pulling the strings.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
it's really
hot.
so. It's that. Yeah, it is. You can. It is. And spirits, you should try. Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Make sure you
Yeah.
protect yourself, whatever.
Okay.
People are going to be like, Brittany, why are you telling people to have ghost sex on air?
No, I want to try it.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, you've been wanting to conjure in some good sex.
Sex.
Mm-hmm.
This
Maybe
is
that's the way.
really, really
Maybe it's from
strange.
the other realm.
But like the first like famous spirit that I really tapped into, and I did not have ghost sex with him. I don't know why, because he's hot, was Tupac.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he came to me. Like I listened to his music when I was a kid, and you
Yeah.
know, like whatever. But he came to me at like 3:00 in the morning because I write a lot, and I write a lot at like 2, 3, 4:00 in the morning.
Wow.
And I saw him and felt him, and I have journals upon journal, like notebook after notebook of raps, like poetry and rap, just
Whoa.
channeling him.
Whoa.
And so he helps. And then I read this article where Kendrick Lamar said the same thing. So Kendrick Lamar had written like, you know, a couple songs, but he said Tupac came at 3:00 in the morning, stood at the foot of my bed and said, get up and write this song. Get in the studio
That's
now.
Oh,
Cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I have thought about having ghost sex with him, but I don't know. I don't know.
I would.
Gotta play.
I know.
Oh
I
my
want him
God.
to still come around and like help me write.
Sure, you don't want to mess up the business
Yeah,
relationship.
You don't want to fuck that bridge away. I get it.
Yeah. So funny.
We didn't even really go that much into your channeling, but that's one of your services, right? To
Yes.
clients. Can you
Yes.
just touch on that a little?
Yeah. I offer tarot readings. I do that as well.
Okay.
And then I can channel. I'm a medium, so I can speak to past loved ones. Typically, people book tarot readings with me, and then next thing you know, past loved ones are stepping forth. And but I do have a business partner that does straight medium
Okay.
work as well. She doesn't do any tarot cards, doesn't use
Okay.
them at all. But yeah, I make in-home calls, and
Is it in person only, or could people?
they do it over their phone too.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
do Zoom. Not
Okay.
Skype, Zoom, and then phone calls. I have international clients, so they can't come to my office. I have an office in Burbank. So yeah. And I make house calls. Those are fun. I like house calls, especially if those are doing medium house calls, not just tarot. I get to see and feel and hold personal possessions.
And then do you pass messages? Do you get messages for people?
I do.
Wow,
I do.
that's so cool.
And it's really trippy sometimes.
Yeah. Is there an experience in your head that you're recalling? Yeah. What happened?
I went to this widow's house, and her husband had just passed. It had been like a month, and I was like sitting there at their kitchen table, beautiful house, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table and I'm staring at the chandelier, and she gets up to go grab water or whatever, and suddenly I was like, I see a man. Like, I came there for a tarot reading, and I knew her husband had passed, but I go, I see this man, because she led me front door to kitchen table, set me at the head of the table. I didn't go all over the house or anything. But I was like, I see this man. He's wearing a hat. He's sitting in a chair. He's got this. I didn't know what cognac was or a cognac glass. I kept saying a stemless wine glass.
Yeah.
And I go, but it's not wine in it. It's like a dark liquid. But anyway, she's like, well, that's my husband that passed. And that he sat in this chair. He wore this ball cap and he drank his cognac.
Wow.
And I said, well, I've never had cognac before. And so she starts pouring it.
Aww.
So she pours it for me. She goes, this was his favorite. This was his, like, whatever, his bottle. And so I start drinking it, and I start speaking and talking and acting like him.
Whoa.
And it was suddenly her mom came up to the table and her aunt that passed. I looked over at her. I said, your mom says, thank you for the pink flowers. And the woman just started crying. She was like, pink was her favorite color. She gets up. She gives me the, what is it that they hand out when people pass away?
The pamphlet. Yeah.
She gave me that, and it was the outer
border.
Thank you. Where are my words?
You have a lot of spirits in you right now.
Yeah, I know. They're all fucking me. I'm just kidding.
Every orifice just go stick.
It was like pink flowers. I'm so sorry. God, these people are so like spiritual and beautiful, and I'm saying that. God, I hope she's not listening to this.
It's good.
But yeah, it was like pink flowers. And then I kept saying, your husband keeps showing me the veins in his neck. And that's when she almost fell out of her chair, because it got to the point in his life where he was on his deathbed and he could no longer speak. And they always had this thing with he had this big vein in his neck. I don't know. It was very specific. And that's how they would communicate. Was through this vein in the neck.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So cool.
It's like weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or not weird, but specifics. Like I had this one woman once when I was posted up in a store on Melrose, and she walked in and she was a skeptic, and I finally read her cards. And I said something about the snail. I said, your mother and the snail. She started crying. My mother died 3 weeks ago, and she left me with these pet snails.
No way.
Yeah. And she's like, I didn't even know you could have pet snails. What the hell do I do with them?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then I heard, take care of my snails. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Wow. Well, would you mind doing a tarot reading for us? I mean, you've already done like a big reading, so I don't.
I don't mind.
Cool.
I actually feel like I felt like we were gonna pull a card for you, but
Yeah.
What would you rather?
Guys. Yeah.
Or maybe we don't need to.
Well, I feel like I just have to share really quickly because I'm intuiting something right now.
Please do.
And I already was, but again, I didn't say it earlier. But when you were talking about someone getting pushed down the stairs, and then you also talked about someone's eyes, I actually felt like both of those and the white light could have been my grandma, because she died falling downstairs.
Whoa.
And then I had this eye thing. I lost my eyesight last summer for a month and a half. So I was like, are you picking all that up from me?
Perhaps.
Maybe she was the white light.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
Because there's so much energy in this place right now and what we've been going through. And like we are on a time schedule. Obviously, we can't sit here all night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Perhaps. That's interesting.
Interesting.
It still felt like a big man. You know,
Okay.
but there's something, but then right after that I felt eyes and,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, again, I'm human and I make
Yeah.
mistakes and I can combine a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But
There's so much in here to pick up on.
Yeah.
Totally.
But definitely. But I would love
Interesting.
to sit with you maybe like
Yeah.
separately another time, whenever,
Yeah.
and talk to your grandmother. But what did you
Cool.
have something you wanted to say to me?
Me?
Yeah, like through that.
I feel I had a vision of me pulling your cards. So I
Yeah.
feel like we need to do that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I see. Okay.
How did I feel that? No, I'm just kidding. Like I knew that.
I mean, I feel like I can just pull your card Like, I
Yeah.
don't even need to, like, okay, interesting.
Oh my. Okay.
Oh.
I see
What
a-
does it mean? I don't know what it means. I just felt like I could pull your card.
Green Tara, start delegating.
Ask others, including me, to help you instead of trying to do everything by yourself.
Of course. I was just talking to my Uber driver on the way here. I'm just so busy and I need an assistant. Yeah. And I was like, because I don't ever ask for help and I do everything on my own. And I'm just like,
Oh my gosh.
overwhelmed.
That's literally this card.
This is your
Yup.
card.
That's why I laugh when
Wow.
I saw start delegating.
Wow.
Because it's getting to that point.
Could you describe what you see in the picture?
Well, I love Buddhism. But it's all green. So green is just all about abundance and just this beautiful energy. I resonate with this. Yeah, green and Buddhism and meditation, and I have a lot of Buddhist. I really love. I'm not religious per se, but Buddhism
These
I love.
colors on the card are very similar to your shirt, too.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my God, this card matches your shirt.
This
Good
is
thing
my,
we take
This is my new
pictures.
shirt for my birthday. So
Wow.
I'm like, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel him around, but I
Whoa.
can't channel him. BTW. I don't know why.
Maybe just not yet.
Bowie sashayed in my living room. Was like, I'm out. When I called him, I tried to channel him as a spirit. He's like, other people need me. And he did like a list.
Yeah. He was like, he's busy.
It's hilarious.
Okay, message from Green Tara. When you feel resentment in your heart because you're carrying more than your share of the load, you're doing no favors for anyone, including yourself. You need to ask for help to ensure that you have private time for contemplation and rest. One of the reasons why I'm able to sit so peacefully is that I know the secret of true productivity. It doesn't come through struggle or strife. Rather, it comes from a clear and focused mind that's unchallenged by indecisiveness. You see, making decisions is the shortest route to triumphant passages. Once you make up your mind, the rest follows quite naturally. I therefore urge you to sit quietly and follow the footsteps of your mind. Be open to your heart's meanderings. They will quietly lead you to make your most important decisions, and the rest will fall into place.
Namaste.
I love that.
I do too.
Namaste.
Various meanings of this card. Don't try to be a superwoman or superman. Give your children chores. Ask your partner for help. Accept assistance as it's offered to you. Release guilt or the belief that it's weak to ask for help.
Wow.
Be a team player. About Green Tara. Oh, pronounced Tara.
Okay.
Tara is a Hindu and Buddhist goddess whose name means star in the ancient Sanskrit language.
Stop it.
What?
Oh,
well, David Bowie, isn't he the Starman or Ziggy
yes.
Stardust?
But what were
That's-
you going to say?
Somebody pulled a card for me yesterday for my birthday, and it was the star card.
Whoa.
Okay.
Following you.
You're so open.
That's cool.
It's wild.
Her many personality and aspects are represented by different colors. Green Tara is known for being a speedy helper who offers emergency aid and provides rapid understanding of situations and relationships. She rescues us by empowering us to save ourselves.
Absolutely. That's what this work
Love
is
it.
all about.
Yeah.
When people come to me and they're like, I've had bad tarot readings in the past or medium, they're so scared, but they'll come to me because they resonate with me. And I'm like, you're leaving here with clarity and empowerment. Even if I see something, your world's going to come crashing down, you're going to be okay. So I love that. I
love
resonate
that.
with that
Yay,
a lot.
good.
Love it.
Woo! That's exciting.
Yes.
Let's like close the reading. Beautiful. Thank you, Green Tara. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Okay. Now
I like
let's take a minute to plug anything.
Yeah, how can people
You've got
find
going?
you?
You can find me at lightofthephoenix.com /tarot specifically, but I want you to read about my business partner and where all of it was founded. And I'm on Instagram. On the gram.
Yes.
What's your handle on the gram?
It's Brittany Lee Scott.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they'll find it.
Amazing.
I don't have to spell it out.
And as always, we end every episode with a basic blessing. This is something we're grateful for today.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you helping me in my moment of overwhelming feeling, whatever I was feeling. Thank you.
You're welcome. Actually, I want to admit that no problem. I read
Yeah.
something recently. I was like, don't say you're welcome. Just say no problem.
Cool.
I am grateful for you and this moment and the Comedy Store and the spirits here. And I'm very grateful for my life and being alive. I did just celebrate my birthday. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that was that. Oh, I'm alive.
Nice.
Yeah. I love that. I'm grateful for the ability to breathe. It's like so simple, but some people literally can't do that. And it's crazy to think about. So I'm grateful for that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And thank you so much for coming here and talking to us.
And
Thank
talking
you.
to the spirits.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Yay.
I would love to do it again.
Yeah. We could
Yeah.
go for hours.
Totally.
I know, right? That's
Yeah.
when I showed that. I'm like, of course.
Yeah,
We get into like a time suck.
the tour too.
That too.
This is for you.
You know what? This is so funny. I just said the other day, I go, all my lighters get stolen, and why haven't I gotten a lighter karma, like fairy, to come back? This is the third lighter that I've been given in like a week. And I was like, it's coming back. I love it.
Also, is there any